Hey guys, welcome into cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust with you today. Glad you're here with us. It is Monday, February 3rd. It is time to rock and roll. So many good things happening across this country. And of course, when it comes to change, change is never just smooth. And not everybody's going to like change, as we see right now, especially with those on the left when it comes to what Donald Trump is trying to do in helping this country. But I hope you guys are enjoying it, because this country, through the growing pains now of cleaning up all the trash, cleaning up all of the filth, the stench, the nasty, the evil that was a part of this country left by Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and others within the White House. So here we go. We're ready to rock and roll with things that are going on. Coming up on the show today, Trump's getting serious. And I mean, very, very serious. He is doing exactly what he said he would do. And we finally, again, have a president who is a leader, who has the mandate, as we've talked about so many times. If you don't help us, and if you're not for us, you're against us. This is about making America great again, because for far too long, we have taken care of everybody else at our own detriment. And of course, if we're going to help other people, we have to be strong. Peace through strength. We're not strong anymore. So now we're in the process of those growing pains of working our American muscle to build it back up. Trump's getting serious when it comes to tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico. And of course, those in the liberal media and those on the liberal left and those liberal politicians will try to make this into something that it's not, unfortunately. But that's all right. We don't have to worry about them getting very, very serious. We have several incidents and people talking about what is happening right now and why it's so great to live in America. They're from an Indian man talking about, just put it in perspective of how good it actually is to live in America. The DNC is a debacle. Just waiting. It's really funny how bad the DNC is right now. They have nothing, no popularity, no favorability. They can't decide what a man and a woman is anymore still. We'll tell you about what their problems are. JD Vance on Trump's latest decisions, Trump talking about what's actually happening, not only with these tariffs with other countries, but what's happening in Panama. We'll break down Greenland, and it's all a plan, because we've got arguably the most intelligent businessman ever to sit in the White House, and he is taking care of stuff. But it's really sad. Also, we'll get into illegal aliens celebrating in the streets of LA. I mean, you guys are total disrespectful people when it comes to what you get, what you have, what people are giving to you in our tax money. And to do what you do, you're not helping your cause in any way. There are so many names I would love to call you, so many things to your face, but I'm not. I'm going to stay above it, because it's disrespectful to the police and what you're doing to our men and women in LA. Go figure, more problems in LA. All these blue state sanctuary cities and liberal run places. There's not a liberal state in America that's doing well. There's not a liberal city in America that's doing well. We broadcast out of the St. Louis, Missouri area, and they can't even decide what to do with over $500 million or $400 million of money that was given us to the Rams. And guess who's holding up all the stuff? Liberal elected leaders. And I mean far left liberal leaders in the city of St. Louis. You know, like me, you want to play games? We'll play games. These are the kind of things that are going on in the city of St. Louis. And many times it's by the lunatic white left liberals. That's just in the St. Louis city area. They've got over $400 million and they can't figure out where to put it, because they're all nasty. They're mean. They don't care about the people. This is what you see with the left. So it's just sad to see these things going on. And like I've said, I've just lost it with the left, who have more of a desire to save gang members than they do babies. And it's just one of those things I don't think we're ever going to see change. Also, one thing I would like to get into, and it came out on Friday, we finally, well, the name was released Saturday finally, of the third pilot and I'm not attacking her, but they refused to name her, and she was one of the pilots in the Army Black Hawk military chopter. Upon looking at video, looked like it flew right into the side of the airplane, the American Airlines jet that we talked about at the end of last week, where 67 people died. And new video that was released showed that it is absolutely impossible. I mean, impossible for that chopper to not have seen what they were flying into. Impossible. There is nobody on the show, there is nobody in this world that can prove that they did not see. It's literally at the same level. No way that they did not know that they were flying into that. And obviously, we have seen more when it came to DEI hires with air traffic control situation. I mean, it is just bad, bad, bad. You'll hear from a senator who actually says he thought it was deliberate. Yeah, that's right, Ron Johnson. So have to touch upon that as well. Greg says 2 illegals arrested for murder in Chicago of 62-year-old man in December, 21, 27-year-old yesterday. One had ice ankle bracelet. Yeah, it's sad. I'm trying to get to your comments today too. I appreciate it. Donna says, I'm only about 20 minutes from the Philly plane tragedy in Philadelphia. Yeah, the other sad thing with that, if you see the video, it just so many dang questions with that one. I know it was a medical plane. 6 people died, including a pediatric patient. But when you look at the video of it, it literally takes a 50-degree angle straight into the ground with engines at 100%. I don't get that one either. I'm not here to be conspiracy theory today, but I'm telling you, those things do not make sense whatsoever. We're just grateful that you're joining us for Cancel the Show, canceltheshow.com. Here Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays right now between 9 and 10 a.m. Now, we've talked about extending the days, maybe extending the time. We're still doing that. Maybe a new show coming as well. But thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show, and letting people know what we have going on. I just get so darn frustrated with these things that are happening because so many good things, and I mean really, really good things, are happening in this country right now. And for those people who are sick, once again, we pray that you guys get healthy and do everything that you possibly can to get back on track with what's going on. Okay. Big story around the country right now, too, is the fact that Donald Trump is serious when it comes to these tariffs. And he said he was going to do what he is doing right now. When it comes to tariffs, if you do not work with the United States when it comes to illegal activity at our borders, we are going to do what we can. And most times, financial situations are the best we can do. We're going to come after you for your money because we have taken care of you for far too long. And when it comes to these situations, Canada and Mexico and China can boohoo all they want. China isn't, because they know that they'll admit the illegal activity and fentanyl that they're bringing into this country. They don't care. Canada and Mexico are the ones who are not doing the United States any favors and then trying to rip us. Good luck trying to compete with the United States. You want to get into a tariff war, you will disastrously affect your economy. You will crush your economy. You will crush your economy very, 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 very easily. And, you know, if you want to do this, have at it. But here's Donald Trump talking about what happens when it comes to Canada and when it comes to Mexico and China, and also maybe a little bit about Panama. You try to figure out what the heck is going on and why he's doing what he's doing, because Donald Trump is not going to sit back. He's not going to be somebody that says, oh, okay, yeah, we're just going to sit back and not do anything. I got elected to do something, and that's what I'm here to do. So now Donald Trump is ready to rock and roll, as he has been, and we're grateful. I mean, I'm grateful that we have a man who's willing to do what he said he would do. And here is Donald Trump, I think. Go figure, our first video. I couldn't get Donald to play. So sorry about that. That's what happens. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that's what we have right now. So Trump literally talked about this situation. I want to bring this back up because it is sound that you have to hear. He is not somebody that's going to let everything just go by the wayside. He's not just going to say, okay, we're going to let everything happen. He's talking about what he's going to do and why this has to happen in America. So here, once again, is Donald Trump. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. That sound did not work, unfortunately. Normally I'm able to do that and it works out well. This time it did not. I'll have to go back and check out, see what I can do. Okay. So 25% tariffs on China, 25% on, or excuse me, 25% on Mexico, 25% on Canada, 10% when it comes to China. And when Donald Trump talks about why, it makes a whole lot of sense. And when we break the numbers down, here's what's going on. He defends it, and he should. He said he was going to do this. If these countries did not work with the United States, he was going to make sure that they paid a price to make sure that they did what they had to do to get these things in order. For example, he says Canada, quote, Canada has been very abusive of the United States for many years. They don't allow our banks, Trump claimed. Also, he says that Canada, if you go there and you're an American bank, US bank, whatever, you can't go to Canada and work with them, but they can come here. He says Canada has also been very tough for oil on energy. He says they don't allow our farm products, and essentially they don't allow a lot of things to come into Canada, but we allow everything to go there. So if you're not going to work with us when it comes to our border, we're going to take care of what we need to do. Trump also says that the U.S. subsidizes Canada by the tune of $200 billion a year. So if they're not going to help us, why should we continue to give them money? You know what you do? You hit them where it hurts. You hit them in the pocketbook, and then you make them decide what they're going to do. He says that the tariffs are stemming from an extraordinarily threat posed by illegal aliens and drugs, including the deadly fentanyl that constitutes a national emergency. Got no problem with Trump doing what he's doing. Once again, this is exactly what he said he would do. He would take care of it and help this country as best as he possibly could. Also, when it comes to Mexico, you know, they're not helping us down there on the border, according to Trump. They're not doing what Trump has asked them to do. And you know what? We give Mexico a lot of money. We've given them a whole lot of leeway. Trump says, quote, Mexico not only does not want fentanyl to reach the United States, but anywhere. That's what they're saying. Therefore, if the United States wants to combat criminal groups that traffic drugs and generate violence, we must work together in an integrated manner, but also under the principles of shared responsibility, mutual trust. Okay, whatever. That's what Mexico's saying. Donald Trump saying, you're not doing what you said you would do. And that's got to stop. It's got to stop. So, and then China, of course, with fentanyl. And we know that there are a lot of Chinese illegals here, single men, who we've been told before by the FBI, you better have your head on a swivel. Be careful. Trudeau, and of course, the Mexican president, they're talking a lot. They're talking big games, and they say that, oh, really? Well, they'll come back on the United States and give us tariffs. Really? Really? You're going to come back and give us tariffs? Okay. Well, if that's what you want to do, good luck with that. We'll see what happens. Just be careful, because be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because you just may get it. And we love what Donald Trump is doing in this country right now. We see what's happening. We know what we can do to get done. And if you come after the United States, you know, you're going to pay a price. Donald Trump says that this takes place tonight. It's going to go in Tuesday at 12 a.m. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do, this is what's going to happen. So Donald Trump,
$1 billion a year, and for Canada's been very abusive of the United States for many years. We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? If they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want. Millions of people flowed into our country through Mexico and Canada, and we're not going to allow that. It's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out. USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision. China's running the Panama Canal. That was not given to China. That was given to Panama foolishly. But they violated the agreement, and we're going to take it back, or something very powerful is going to happen. Canada's been very abusive of the United
and we
States
are
for many
grateful for
years.
Donald Trump doing
We
that and getting it
subsidize.
done. All right, Donald Trump, we appreciate it. Thank you. This is why you've got going on. And by the way, Panama, an update on Panama. I don't want to get a lot into Panama today, but the deal with Panama is now saying that they're going to work with Donald Trump. They don't want to give that up. See, Donald Trump knew exactly what he was doing in his art of deal making, saying that we were going to take it back. Well, guess what? All of a sudden, here you go, people. Donald Trump says what he says about Panama because it's not fair. China's been controlling it, making a ton of money, not following what they should have done. But now you have, quote, Panama says that it is going to exit its Belt and Road Agreement with China. And this happened right after Marco Rubio was visiting there over the past 4 or 5 days. The President Molino, said that he plans to, quote, not renew it when it expires in a year or two, but he wants to see if the agreement can be exited early. The agreement essentially increases China's economic influence in member countries. It's been making China a whole lot of money, and it was never intended to do that. Trump says we never should have gave it away. Thank you, Jimmy Carter, for doing that. Of course, wasn't a lot with his presidency that was working for the United States, which is why he got crushed by Ronald Reagan when he had a chance to run against him. And then Donald Trump said, not only should we not have given it away after we built it for him, China basically took it over. President Trump says that he's been pressuring Panama to curb the Chinese influence around the canal. Then Marco Rubio was sent there with the message over the weekend. And now, guess what? Donald Trump wins again. He wins at every freaking turn because he knows what he's doing and he's already been there. So love that. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Well done, Donald Trump. With the tariffs we were just talking about, Canada some of their people, I don't know if they understand everything that's going on. And they don't really have to know what's going on because they elected Justin Trudeau and it is their fault. But the United States is explaining every turn what they're doing and what they're trying to do. And that's what I love about this administration. We're telling you exactly what's happening, what you need to know, and we're going to continue to do this. Here, I wanted to play this. JD Vance kind of talking about some of the situations that are going on right now in this country.
Will go into effect tomorrow. Yep. 25% on Canada and Mexico, 10% on China. Are you expecting retaliation?
We'll see what happens, but I think, unfortunately, the retaliation has already happened. The problem with this whole idea that they're going to retaliate is they have already been taking advantage of America for decades. The retaliation is Donald Trump saying no more. We're not going to be taken advantage of anymore, and I think it's important the president is doing what he's doing. Now, look, it looks different ways and comes in different forms, whether you're talking about Canada or China or Mexico. We know that Mexico has allowed the facilitation of the illegal drug trade and illegal sex trafficking for years and has done nothing about it. If they want to be a better partner to us, the time starts now. We know the Chinese, of course, have stolen American manufacturing jobs for 30, 40 years, and also that they've facilitated the trafficking of illegal fentanyl into Mexico, where the drug cartels then bring it into our country. We are sick of being taken advantage of.
Yeah, we are. And we should be sick of it all because this is what's happening in our country. We don't need it. And this is why we're doing what we're going to do. It's not all cookies and lemonade poolside. It's not going to be fun. And, oh, yeah, it's easy. No, people don't want to give up their gifts, just like people don't want to give up DEI. DEI is a gift. It's a big time Christmas gift that was not earned over and over and over again. But you don't give gifts at the expense of other people. That's what we're starting to see. And once again, we're loving everything that we're seeing from Donald Trump because this is what he said he would do. And now it's about us and this country getting back to good. However, you'll have some people, and I do have some Canadian friends and one I work with, and I'm not sure that he is a big Trump fan. But when when the masses are uneducated, they'll do things. They'll say things. They'll have opinions. And you know what, Canada, if you don't like things, you know what? Then maybe you should elect new leaders. And Justin Trudeau, as he goes out the door, because, he cowered because nobody wanted him. Nobody wanted him around. He is now having to deal with this. But this was at an NBA basketball game over the weekend when Canada found out that Donald Trump was going to put tariffs on them if they didn't answer the bell. And you know what? If Canada feels this way, then Canada, see what it's like not with our help.
8-year-old Kyra Daniel.
Yeah, listen, these are Canadian fans doing our national anthem. It's okay, these are just uneducated people, and we deal with these kind of people every day. Canada, clearly you have no idea what you're doing because you elected Justin Trudeau. And if you're going to go there and boo the American national anthem, shame on you. Shame on you, Canadians. Shame on you. Now, I know that doesn't represent the entire country, or at least I hope it doesn't. But Canada knows that they have a bad leader. That's why Justin Trudeau gave up. They are having a revolution there as well. Yeah, but that's, Canada fans. And of course, I've talked about mob mentality before. Sometimes it just takes a couple people and they can try to incite a mob, even if others don't really feel that way. But just disrespectful, unclassy. And that's the look that Canada has. Kevin says, take your team and get out of the NBA. That was at a Toronto Raptors NBA game when they went after the playing of the national anthem. And you know what? We would rather work with Canada, but like Donald Trump says, if you're not going to work with us, then we're not going to work with you. And keep in mind, if you want to look at border crossings, when it comes to terrorists, when it comes to, quote, the evil ones, more were apprehended at the northern border than at our southern border. Look it up. It is a fact. Northern border, not our southern border. And that is, Donald Trump says, $200 billion subsidy of Canada, which is why he's talked about them becoming the 51st state. These are the things that we're dealing with in America. And you know what? We're not going to be the lap dog anymore. We're not just going to sit back. We've got a leader who's going to take care of things, who's not going to let this stuff happen. Now, if Canada and Mexico want to play hardball, and this is why Donald Trump is going to win. And I feel like this video explains it so darn well, what's actually going to happen. If they try to fight the United States when it comes to exports, imports, tariffs, non-tariffs, they're going to lose, and they're going to lose in a big way. There was a financial analyst who came out yesterday and said Mexico, if they follow through with what they're trying to do and, quote, putting tariffs on the United States, they'll bankrupt their country in a week. That's how bad Mexico is. That's how much they rely on us as a country. So check this out. This explains it very, very, very well. I'm grateful that people will do some of these things that we have. Just listen to this in just a second, and I'll start it up for you because it explains the whole tariff situation.
Both are now launching tariff wars against the United States, with Canada imposing 25% tariffs on $30 billion worth of U.S. goods starting Tuesday, followed by another $125 billion within 21 days, while Mexico is planning its own retaliatory measures. If they think they can push the U.S. around, they're in for a brutal lesson. Trump won't just match their tariffs, he'll probably double them, likely slapping 50% tariffs on Canada and Mexico that will send both economies into a tailspin. The numbers don't lie. Canada and Mexico both depend heavily on the U.S., far more than the U.S. relies on them. 75% of Canada's exports go to the U.S., while Mexico sends nearly 80% of its total exports north of the border. In contrast, only 14% of U.S. exports go to Canada and 16% to Mexico, meaning the U.S. can absorb this trade war much better than its so-called allies. Trudeau's and Mexico's leadership may think they're making a power move, but all they're doing is setting their own economies up for severe economic pain. For Canada, this is economic suicide. Trudeau has already crippled Canada's energy sector, driven inflation to record highs, and overseen a decline in manufacturing. Now he's risking the entire economy on a pointless trade war with America. Meanwhile, Mexico is even more vulnerable. Its economy is deeply tied to American manufacturing and auto production, and Trump has never hesitated to hit Mexico hard when needed. Both countries are gambling with their economic futures, and they are playing against a man who never loses. Canada and Mexico are in no position to pick a fight with their most important trade partner, but arrogance blinds their leaders to reality. If they think they can threaten the U.S. without devastating consequences, they're about to learn the hard way. Trump will make sure both countries pay a massive price for their foolishness. FAFO.
Yeah, FAFO is for sure. You know what? We don't want Canada and Mexico to screw around in FAFO because you're going to lose. You're going to lose. The problem is these countries get used to being gifted everything, just like people. You know, it's that entitled child, that entitled friend, that entitled family member, that entitled neighbor, that entitled coworker. You're used to getting everything for free. You're used to getting everything easy. You don't have to work for it. And I don't care. It can be the best person in the world. But if everything is given free all the time, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to create somebody that expects it. And then when you don't get it, you're like, oh my God. And then, of course, you start to come up with excuses and you start to try to play the game. And then, of course, you have these problems. Robert says both countries already have an 18% tax rebate called a VAT, a value added tax. Thanks for bringing this up, Robert. So 25% is really a 7% increase, which would still hurt them. Mexico and Canada statements reminds me of listening to Baghdad Bob. I think I saw somebody say, yeah, Mexico's already caved. Yeah, they said that they're going to try to work with Trump, but they continually say, oh yeah, we'll work. And then at the last moment, they stop. They don't do what they're going to do. Interesting. Yeah, we'll see where that goes. The thing that I love about the fact that Trump is doing what he said he would do is, if this doesn't make you sick, I don't know what does. And we need to be honest about it because shows and media need to be talking about this. This is what we do on Cancel This. This is what we're always going to do. Here's how much of our taxpayer money and politicians, elected politicians, have sent out and are sending to other countries just in the last 4 years. And then think about all of the things that we need in this country, from vets being helped out, from homelessness here, to tragedies, to weather events, to North Carolina, to LA, you name it, Palestine, Mexico, just in the last 4 years. Taxpayer money, $295 million. Czech Republic, $324 million. Estonia, $334 million. Lithuania, $339 million. Poland, $375 million. I like Poland. That's all right. We'll give them $375. Romania, $397 million. Bulgaria, $431 million. Tanzania, $471 million. Pakistan, I said Pakistan, $536 million. Colombia, $731 million, which is why Trump did what he did last week when he was sending back the Colombian illegals. And you had that president wanting to speak and try to challenge Donald Trump. Good luck. Philippines, $809 million. Somalia, $1 billion tax money. Lebanon, $1 billion. Iraq, $2.2 billion. Jordan, $2.3 billion. Afghanistan, $6.1 billion. Egypt, $6.3 billion. Ukraine, $2.6 billion taxpayer money. Israel, $8.5 billion. Tax money, people. These are the things that are going on. Yeah, Connie says, wouldn't it be something if Walmart had items from America instead of China? I did one of my first Walmart trips in a long time, Friday night. Vic, what'd you do Friday night? I went to Walmart. I'm not kidding. I was at Walmart Friday night. And yeah, it would be bizarre and wonderful to see only American products being purchased in the United States, and especially at Walmart. Robert says this isn't a trade war. This is a border migrant trafficking and drug war. It's exactly what it is. And Donald Trump is making that message clear. This isn't because, oh, we're giving you money. Now, this is if Mexico and Canada would actually do what they said they would do and what they should do at the borders, the tariffs would not be going into effect. And I have no idea what's going to happen at midnight tonight. I have no idea. Justin Trudeau is a lame duck. He should be out already. They should have an election immediately. They were refusing it in Canada. And then, of course, you know what you're going to get in Mexico. You never know what you can trust at the border there. You just can't. You can't. I enjoyed my trip to Walmart, except the checking out was a nightmare. I won't get into that. We all deal with stuff in life that's happening. But people, the Americans and this country has supported everybody for so long and given so much money. And people just get used to it. And illegals in this country get nasty. And they don't treat the United States with any respect. Well, we see Americans also not treating the United States with respect as it should get as well. It's frustrating when I see and hear the things that are happening. But you know what? We do what we can. I love this country and I love what Donald Trump is doing. And if anybody wants to say that what's happening should continue to happen, maybe you should go to another country and realize that we have a great thing here and we need to continue to do that. And Donald Trump has to protect it. And if he doesn't, it goes away. And that's why we're in a great spot right now. I love this video when I was doing research because it really puts into perspective, what this country is about and what people try to do, because we're going to get into it. There's illegals around the country. There's small little pockets trying to celebrate illegal aliens. And it's like, huh? What? This shouldn't be happening. But of course, there's going to be crazy people all over the place who just expect things because you have the liberal left, the loony, evil liberal elves. We've seen them around here several times that they just lose it. They can't, they don't have a concept of reality whatsoever. And then we see that same evil liberal mentality in blue cities across America, and not one of them is doing well, including in St. Louis. And you see the disaster right now with the Rams money. They're more worried and they're eating each other alive, much less conservatives. Conservatives aren't even allowed in the city of St. Louis. If they were, the place would be completely different. But too many people there are too worried about their identity politics and this and that and racism. Let's create false narratives, just like they do at a lot of the schools in the city, including Cardinal Ritter and other places where they tell kids they're less than because of the color of their skin and they deserve this and they deserve that. And the professors who teach them that kind of BS, because these are great kids that deserve to have teachers that will teach them the right things in life. Listen to this Indian talk about what America is and how illegals here don't appreciate what they have. And it's perfectly stated. And this is what we need more of in this country.
Where if you have been protesting in the US while on a student visa, or if you had a green card or whatever, you're a permanent resident, whatever it is, he's sending those people back. So let me get this straight. USA lets you come in on a visa, lets you in, you're eating in USA, you're making money in USA, you having a house in USA, car in USA, everything USA, but you fly your flag of your country, which you do not like, and you're coming here, and then you say, my flag, my flag, my flag. You all deserve it. This country lets you in for your benefit, and then you want to say protest, protest, protest. Finally, if y'all want to protest in USA, y'all should protest for the USA in this country. But if you are going back in your country, yes, you can protest over there regarding your country or your rights, but not in a different country. That's completely unacceptable. I'm just laughing over here because why? People comment to us every time, oh, what do you want to say about Palestine? What do you want to say about something Bangladesh and this and that? None of my business. I care about me, my wife, and my family, and where I'm living. That's how it should be. When the country gives you food, water, a living, house, kids, wife, whatever your life, talk about that country. That's all I have to say. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Puts things in perspective, doesn't it? I love the Indian culture here too. All they do is work their butts off. They do. I mean, when we've broken down the amount of money that different types of people make, and then you look at the practices and you look at the work that goes into it, the studying, the appreciating of America. Yeah, it is, because we see some of these things happening, and it's disrespectful. It's disgraceful what we see people in the United States doing. But we created it through our democratic policies of just giving handouts after handouts after handouts to illegals, to people who don't deserve it, to DEI and everything. From the chat line, Mexican jobs are created by Mexican subsidies and stupid American policies like taxes, regulations, currency, and much more, such as competition between states. Forget about competing with Mexico. Michigan can't compete with Indiana and Wisconsin. We have no USA policy. Great point. It's 50 against each other. Then it's against the world. It is a complicated subject where most don't get it, and the politicians that created it benefit and have benefited. It's a great point, Robert. I see where you're coming from with that, and it's just sad because you've got to clean it up as best as you possibly can. And we finally have a president who is at least attempting to do that. But everything that's happening with these people who are here in the States and not caring about this country, it makes me sad. It does. This is what's happening in LA these days. Obviously we had the fire situation. We already know what that state's about. It's just, you've got illegals now out in the streets publicly protesting because illegals are being deported. I guess we knew it was going to happen. This from LA. We'll show you what's happening. It's, I guess we shouldn't be surprised, but this happened all weekend in LA. Illegals out with their flags, blocking traffic, and the LA Police Department gave a stand-down order to their police. Well, you've got hundreds, it's not even thousands, but hundreds of people causing issues, problems, uneducated. They don't have a love of America. They don't care about you or me. They care about themselves. It's selfishness. And these are not what we need in our country. These are the same kind of people who are ungrateful, and they need to be done away with, meaning they need to be deported. And I hope there's video of every one of them that Tom Homan and his ICE crew will get out of here eventually, because these people don't appreciate anything that they have gotten here. And if it was so bad here, why are they still here? Why are they still here? You know why they're still here, because the getting is good. That's why. Complete chaos. I bet their parents and their families are so proud of them that they're out causing chaos, breaking the laws. And that's what the left likes. That's exactly what the left is teaching people to do. Todd says St. Louis had people out complaining because funding was gone. Yeah, that's exactly right. They're having to wait on funding coming in because Trump's trying to clean up the shit show that's been going on forever. Absolutely. That's what these people are like. Man, I've met a lot of them too. And I mean, I've met a lot of these people, these liberal leaders. And I mean, you look at them, you're like, are you getting paid to come up with this? Are you literally thinking what you're saying is true? Somebody has to be paying you, because their policies make absolutely zero sense. And then we have what's happening out in LA, which is just sad, and it's sick and it's disgraceful. But, we're starting to see some of these things that are going on. This is video from the weekend that I absolutely loved, adored this. And we need to see more of this, because this is how you do away with. This is exactly how you take care of problems and issues when it comes to people who are causing problems in this country. This is why I absolutely love this. We'll show you this video a couple times. This here is the United States deciding to cancel the student visa of a Chinese grad student at UCLA. Guess what? She's been such a great resident in the United States. She's been supporting Hamas sympathizers on campus, which we already know is a problem. So she's been doing this over and over and over again, going after innocent Jewish students with her Hamas rhetoric, Hamas Hezbollah, and all the stuff that we've seen from Palestine. And her days are done. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, Tom Homan. You take you cut off the head of the snake, and then you go after the other ones, because nobody deserves to have people coming after them, and especially for no reason. These are the things that Donald Trump said that he would do, and he's doing it. And he's doing a fine job of it. It just takes time. It just takes a little bit of time. And we're starting to see what we're getting in this country when we have a situation like this. Yeah. Bye-bye. See you later, because you're not grateful for the opportunities that you've had in this country. And it would be so easy. But let's go ahead and bite the hand that feeds us and start problems, because you know why? They're bought and paid for. Simple. Bought and paid for. Jeannie says, bye, Bish. From the chat line, I need to get to our chat line a little bit. You guys are wonderful. A little difficult sometimes when I'm by myself doing everything. Donna says, stop the freebies. They will go away. Yeah, I agree. Tanya, California border crossers are horrible. They need to finish the wall. And I believe they are trying to. FAFO from the chat line. And if anything else happens, there you go. Pete Hegseth. Yeah. Also, Kristi Noem. Love something that Kristi Noem did over the weekend, too. She temporarily axed the citizenship or temporary citizenship, those visas, for over 300,000 Venezuelans. Donald Trump had a plan. He's taking care of it. And they're doing everything they need to do. What? From the St. Louis area, Todd says, El Maguey, a restaurant chain in St. Charles, had 3 people brought in. Okay, there you go. FAFO, once again, FAFO. FAFO. Donald Trump's even signing tweets with it now. Don't mess with everything that's happening in this country. We're trying to take care of business and make things better. Democrats are really losing their mind, and this has to really, and I'm not going to play this guy, because they elected their new DNC leader over the weekend. But the things that they're doing there right now, I got to show you this, guys. They're such a party in disarray. They don't know where they're coming, if they're going. I saw a Democrat on TV today says, I hate my party. He's like, I'm a liberal union guy, and we have nothing. So over the weekend, the DNC came together to elect their new DNC leader. And literally what I'm trying to show you right now is what they did was they came together, and the guys, they literally had this happen. The DNC leader was interrupted, and he interrupted the party election to make sure that members knew that they didn't have enough non-binary candidates, and they haven't elected enough non-binary candidates. So they needed to vote for one now. This is what the Democrats are worried with. All of the things that we need in our daily lives, the Democrats' number one focus was, we need more non-binary candidates. Guys, as conservatives, as Republicans, we need to enjoy the disarray that they have so that they can't even come in and make a dent in anything that Donald Trump is doing. While they're fighting with each other and fighting in the city of St. Louis over $400 to $500 million that the Rams won from Stan Kroenke when he illegally took the Rams from St. Louis as part of an NFL deal. And instead of going to court, he settled with St. Louis, and St. Louis settled early. We could have had a football team back and or a whole lot more money. So we settled early, which was a stupid mistake. Would have gotten a lot more money. Would have taken longer, but we would have gotten a lot more money. And now you have liberal, far left, lunatic politicians. And we've had that money for years now. And we haven't spent a dime of it because we're fighting over where it's going to go. And then you have the Democratic Party worried that they haven't elected enough non-binary members. I think David Hogg, you remember that guy? He's a disaster. I think he's like second in line now at the DNC. I loved it. I mean, talk about a debacle and a Democratic Party in disarray. I don't think the Democratic Party has ever been in this disarray than where they are now. So enjoy it, because Republicans are worried about taking care of families, taking care of money, taking care of safety, taking care of security, and they're doing what they're doing. Yeah, that's the point, Todd. is I guess they haven't learned from the election. Many haven't, because they still can't comprehend. I don't think we think as conservatives, we think rationally and we think logically. And many Democrats just don't. It is, as people have told me on the show, Vic, it is a mental illness that they never learn from their mistakes. And they would rather bite that hand that feeds them. I have friends of mine who I see posting, this is Donald Trump's economy. Eggs are still high. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we've moved on to peaceful things, that we don't have to worry about this stuff anymore. Yeah, the vice chair, David Hogg, unfreaking believable. And, you know, they're not going to learn. And we got a shout out for the Battlehawks. Agree. There you go. Go Battlehawks. Caw coming in from the chat line. Liberalism, Vic, is no doubt a mental disorder. Remember who had the job before RFK Jr.? Come on, Dems. Yeah, I mean, I've always said I'm for two good parties going at it. Iron sharpens iron. Checks and balances. Let's make sure that everything is good, because don't think for a second that there aren't rhinos, Republicans, who have taken a lot of money from Big Pharma and done things behind the scenes, as we have witnessed, that are not very good things. They got participation awards growing up. That's the problem, Vic. Yeah, possibly. Very much is. Very, very, very much is. And then we're left here going, really? Really? That's what you guys want to get involved in? That's what you guys want to back? This is why Donald Trump's popularity is skyrocketing. This is why Donald Trump is doing what he is doing. And he's saying things that may sound a little terse to people, including after the Army Black Hawk chopper flew right into the American Airlines flight, talking about DEI practices and how bad things have been at ATC, air traffic controlling, because people need to hear it. For too long, we're not going to offend people. We're just going to let bad things happen. Well, somebody eventually has to stand up, have a spine, be a leader, and say what needs to be said. And as soon as Donald Trump, in the midst of a tragedy, was willing the next day to talk about how angry and upset he was because of DEI hires and practices and people in positions they should not have been in, what happened? Employees of the ATC have all spoken up now about how bad DEI destroyed air traffic controls. Whether it was their fault or not with that specific plane crash, it brought to light things that are happening and what could happen more, because people who were in position should not have been there because of the color of their skin. You have to have a leader who is willing, who is able, who has the substance and the sizzle to speak about it so that people will listen and agree with what's happening. From the chat line, Vic, they said they had to elect, this is the DNC, they had to elect an equal number of men and women and one binary. I know Democrats don't really listen to the show, and they'd probably be embarrassed. But come on, that's your argument. You've got to have the Democratic Party is worried about having binary members. Oh, Mitch says it actually looked like the Black Hawk made a beeline like remote control. There's absolutely no doubt that the Black Hawk flew straight at that airplane. I'm sorry. There's no way around it. No way. No freaking way. And I'm glad you brought it up. We might as well hit that point too before we get out of here today. And I'm glad that politicians are recognized. I know we've had a few days for that to marinate on us, and the sadness of things that are going on, and finally the female pilot who they were refusing to release her name. Then finally the family released her name on Saturday, and we find out the last 2 years, instead of flying, she was working inside the Biden administration. She had 450 hours. Some people say it's not a lot. Some people say it's enough. But all about DEI. She was all about Joe Biden's White House. We finally got that out. Yeah, and it's sad. And none of us will know 100% for sure, but that video shows the plane going directly. The new video shows directly going straight at that American Airlines jet. So we got all that out. And then, of course, we had another plane crash, as we talked about, the medical plane crash that happened at the end of last week, which still makes no sense to me. I can't wait to get the black box. And FAA says they're going to be able to find the black box. They will be able to. I mean, that flight, when you look at it, engines were still going when it hit the ground. and it went at a 50-degree angle. Looks nothing like a plane that's lost control or an engine's gone out. And it's like, why all of a sudden does it go at a 50-degree angle as hard as it can straight into the ground? Just not normal. So you had those things going on. But when it came to the Black Hawk chopper, Senator Ron Johnson even talked about this on the Benny Show, and he flat out says this was intentional. And I love the fact after we did our show on Thursday, Trump came out, I think it was Thursday afternoon or Friday, and said, listen, there's no reason for any chopper to be flying 200 feet above where it shouldn't be at 400 feet. That's what made me think something's not right here. It doesn't add up. But here's Senator Ron Johnson, and I wanted to touch upon this because it is so darn important, and we need to hear him talk about
this.
This
has been a wild week in Washington, D.C. Nobody was expecting this, and since this is top of mind with the FAA, perhaps you can explain, like, from your position, how did this happen, and what reforms need to be made?
I'd say bureaucratic incompetence across the board. You know, why do they have any flight path of helicopters anywhere near Reagan National Airport, whether it's at the right altitude or not? I mean, that's just insane to do that. We know that the air traffic system has been broken. It's antiquated. We know it's not properly staffed. You know, why didn't the Biden administration do anything about it? Yeah. So no, these are problems that have been going on for years. People have known about it. But again, that's why I'm not a fan of government. It's completely incompetent. You know, really under anybody's management, you cannot properly manage a $7 trillion a year entity and expect anything better than this, probably. It's sad. We've got to shrink the size of government so we can manage what we have a whole lot better, because right now it's completely out of control.
I will say, if given the dark circumstances, at the very least, the Trump administration is being transparent, is telling us the truth, is like coming forward with an enormous amount of information, and we can rest assured that we're going to get to the bottom of what actually happened here. Final question on the subject, Senator. What do you believe actually happened?
I really don't know. It's completely inexplicable to me. It sure looked like that helicopter just purposely ran right into that airliner. What was the pilot? Did they close his eyes for? You know, again, you can't explain it. How can you not see an airplane when you are flying a helicopter close to a international airport? How can you not be looking all over the place, much less like right in front of you? You cannot explain this.
You can't. And of course, we have lost life 67 in that crash. From the chat line, hackers gaining control into our aviation has been floating around as well. Todd says they lost lift. It's normal, not enough time to regain control at that altitude. There's a conflict between the radar towers and helicopters' altitude readings. These are things that are coming in. I don't know. 200 feet is pretty low. Obviously, your guys' opinions are welcome when it comes to that. All I know is when you look at the video, it looks 100%. Not 99, 100% like that chopper was headed. It was flying straight at it, straight at that flight, straight at that American Airlines jet with 64 people on board. ATC should have said you're on a collision course. Bank left. Do you not see it? Yeah, there's issues, no doubt about it. Those things been happening. And here we are wondering what the heck's going on. Are things going to get better? ATC, was it your issue? Was it somebody on the flight? It was just, you know. And then it doesn't help when now. Yes, I'm gonna stop. I don't want to upset anybody or say anything that I shouldn't say. So it's just sad that these things happen. But those things happen. ATC has issues, DEI issues. Yeah, they did. That's what Donald Trump's been talking about and trying to get people up with everything that's happening in this country. You know, we're going to continue to follow all those stories and things that are going on, but Donald Trump has done what he can do when it comes to trying to protect this country. Many of these things are going on right now. And we just need people to be transparent. We need people to be honest and not be afraid to speak truth, not be afraid to put those things out there and not worried about people getting their feelings hurt and having to say, listen, We're going to follow the right path. We're going to do everything that we possibly can. And we'll get truth out. Also, here we go. Didn't take very long. The president of Mexico has declared a 1-month postponement of tariffs against the United States after talks with Donald Trump. That's right. This is what happens. Donald Trump knows exactly what he's doing because Mexico can't step into the ring with the United States after everything we've done for them. And even if we weren't as good to them as we have been to them, they can't do it financially. And speaking of which, President Trump 6 minutes ago just said that the planned 25% tariff with Mexico has now been suspended for that 1 month following that call with the Mexican president, Claudio Sheinbaum. Mexico has agreed to place 10,000 soldiers on the border to stop drugs and migrants while the negotiations continue. This is how this is the difference between Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump, because Donald Trump gets things done. He told us he was going to take care of it. He will do what it takes. He will stand in the line of fire. And now we have this coming to the United States. That's all it took. We're going to put 25% tariffs on you. Get border patrol there. And 10,000 Mexican soldiers are showing up. Yet Joe Biden allowed over 11 million, some people say as many as 20 million illegals come in through our border. Don't ever let that be forgotten. And the Democrats and the liberals who backed it. And then they want to talk about bleeding hearts and all this other stuff and take maybe a percent or 0.5% of the people. Oh, we need to help them and re-educate. Okay. All right. You've lost your mind. You are a complete dumbass. Donald Trump also came out with this quote. I just spoke with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. It was a very friendly conversation wherein she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers will be specifically designated to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants into our country. This is where a lot of the trafficking takes place as well. He didn't say that. That was me adding. We further agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs for a month period during which we will have negotiations headed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who just had super successful negotiations in Panama, where the Panamanian president has said they are ending their agreement with China because Donald Trump knows how to get things done and he knows what's best for America. Okay, I digressed. I will continue back here. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent will also be a part of those, and Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, and high-level representatives of Mexico. I look forward to participating in those negotiations with President Sheinbaum as we attempt to achieve a deal between our two countries. Gosh, it gives me chills to think so much bad has happened with illegals that should have never happened in this country. But now we're trying to take care of business. From the chat line, Mitch says 21 million and missing children that got away, over 300,000 at one point. Some even say as many as 400,000 people. It's real. And be grateful that the man that you voted into president is getting things done. And we thank you for that today. We also thank everybody when it comes to supporting the show, supporting what we do here. And for that, we're grateful for any support you give us when it comes to donations for Cancel This on when it comes to Venmo or PayPal. We're grateful for Sentry, H2O.com. It's actually what you'll do is to get the Sentry water system. It's hydration20.com. It's easy now. Hydration20.com. Hydration20.com. You get the Sentry water system, the best system in the freaking world. RFK Jr. has one, takes out more impurities, more of everything than any other system, but it also adds the calcium. It adds the oxygen, and it adds the magnesium. People ask me, how have you not gotten sick? I'm like, I'm convinced it's the water and calcium and Joe's lemon juice. I'm dead serious on that. Hydration20.com. Takes 15 minutes to put one of these under your sink. That's it. 15 minutes. And it gets out everything. Nothing more important you can do for your body than to do that. Also, if you're looking for real estate in this day and age, give Megan Livingstone a call. Megan.livingstone@exprealty.com. Megan.livingstone@exprealty.com. Whether it's residential, commercial, you want to put a plan together, give her a call. Find out what you need to find out. A positive approach for everything that's happening in the world of real estate. Also grateful for Rockwood Charcoal. You get Rockwood Charcoal, rockwoodcharcoal.com, at Ace Hardware. Jonathan Heslip and crew have the best charcoal in the world. We are grateful for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. By the way, Megan Livingstone's number, 314-249-1708. Rockwood Charcoal, you're not going to find another brand like it. The best charcoal in the world is made in Missouri, and it's Rockwood Charcoal. Also, Capriati's. When it comes to the best sandwiches, I love their Philly cheesesteak. I mean, this Philly cheesesteak, you've got to have it. Ben, our good friend Ben from Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley, we'll talk about them in a second, was in Vegas, and he had the Capriati's, and he said it was one of the best Philly cheesesteaks he ever had. That's just one of the sandwiches. The Wagyu beef, the ingredients are freaking amazing. Their turkey, which is fresh and roasted every night, make up some of the best sandwiches you're ever going to find. It's in Rockwood, open 9 to 9 every day. Jonathan Heslip and crew, check it out. Mouth-watering ingredients, mouth-watering sandwiches, 100% for sure. We are grateful for them. Also, WeQuipUSA.com. Once again, WeQuipUSA.com. If you're looking to rent items, or if you're looking to put some of your own items up, you can go to WeQuipUSA.com. Check out the new site. Paige and crew have done a phenomenal job of connecting people, and it doesn't matter where you are in the country. They'll connect you and your zip code so that you can rent all kinds of products from other people as well. We are grateful for you for jumping in from that standpoint. And finally, Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley. Had a chance to get to Wenty's over the weekend. Spent some time with Ben. Wonderful, had wonderful chicken sandwich and chili. I love it. But so many other people have so many items they love at Wenty's. Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley. Work hard, play hard, have a great time. Always good times there, and that's why people go back. Great food, great service, just a wonderful time to go in. All right. Jeannie says, I'm going to Vegas in April. I'll check that one out. Yeah, check it out, but check out the Capriati's that's in Rock Hill if you get a chance as well. Okay, guys, we appreciate you jumping in today on the show. For Projo, who's trying to help out at home, myself, Vic Faust. That's cancelthisshow.com, the fastest hour in news, politics, news headlines. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll see what happens with tariffs in Canada. Mexico has caved, thank God. They don't want to do that to their country. Just do what's right. If you do what's right and not worry about your pride, then nobody gets hurt. Canada, you're on the clock. We'll be back tomorrow with cancelthisshow.com. Thank you again, people, for supporting us. Thank you for jumping into the chat line. You guys make the show exactly what it is.